Hi guys. So today's topic is contractures or trigger finger. Last year I finally got to see a rheumatologist for the first time and she was amazing. And I told her about my fingers being stiff and she asked me to explain, and luckily I had taken a video of it, which I'll show you right now. Yeah, so they kind of just like lock, and it's mostly in these fingers, and they just kind of get stuck and pop, and it's not all the time, but it's pretty common. And this happens in both hands. And when I went and saw her and she inspected my fingers, come to find out that I had contractures in 7 out of my 10 fingers, and she was pretty blown away. That's super uncommon. Most people only have it in 1 or 2 fingers, generally the index and thumb. But you know, with EDS, it's kind of always something weird, out of the ordinary, and unusual. So she wasn't totally flabbergasted, but she was pretty blown away. She's like, I can't believe you have it in so many fingers. And so basically how she explained it to me was that here in the pad of your hand, you see all these tendons that connect your fingers down to your palm. Well, basically, knots form in the tissue there. And so when it's bent, those ligaments are loose and those knots are just kind of sitting down here. But when you expand, the knots get caught coming over this ridge right here, and that's what causes them to kind of pop. And so it's pretty painful. It's not like excruciating, but it's very uncomfortable. And in general, because of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I have joint pain, generalized joint pain. So my knuckles hurt here, and of course my thumb. And it can actually cause these fingers, or these knuckles, to dislocate. Then that's not because of the contractures, that's just because of EDS. But yeah, so I have a lot of problems with my hands where sometimes they're too sore or too stiff for me to use them. Generally speaking, people with this condition, with the trigger finger contractures, will have swelling in the joints. I don't get swelling, and that's kind of weird for someone like me, but yeah, I don't get joint swelling typically anywhere, and particularly my fingers. It just feels really stiff and painful, and it's a really deep bone ache. So what I have found to help, she prescribed me diclofenac gel, and that helps a little. So what I do is I put it on the backs here, and I also put it on here, and then I rub it in really deep right here. I go up each and every finger, and then I really rub it in at the pad right there, and just kind of sink it in to really get deep down into those knots. And that's just an anti-inflammatory. She also prescribed me the pill form of diclofenac, but it didn't help me. So I will take Aleve when they hurt pretty badly, and that's just to kind of calm down the inflammation, which basically takes the edge off and helps a little. And then I got compression gloves. And the kind that I got are hempvana, so they're made from hemp material. And I've tried the copper ones. They didn't help as much as these ones. So I usually wear them at night when I go to bed so that they're on there for a long time. And after a while of wearing them, like an hour or so, you can actually kind of feel your heartbeat in your hands, like a throbbing, but it's not painful or uncomfortable. It's just getting your blood flowing to the area to really send your body's attention there for healing. And they work really well. So yeah, like I said, I wear them at night when I go to bed if my fingers are hurting. Then I put them on and I go to sleep, and I wake up and I take them off, and my hands feel better than the day before. So they work pretty well, and you can wear them during the day as well. There's not really a set time limit to wearing them, but you do want to give your body a break and not let it get used to wearing them all the time. So I suggest for a couple hours or overnight, and then let your hands breathe and stretch and get back to normal. Yeah, so it's not like I said, not super painful, just very uncomfortable, kind of a pain in the butt because they don't want to work all the time. When they're stiff, they just get stuck, and it makes it difficult doing certain things like making a fist or double horns. Like, I can't bend my fingers all the way down. Straightening them hurts. So you just learn modifications, and for now, this is how it's going to be. There is a surgery that can help release these contractures, but it's not a very successful surgery with people with EDS, so my rheumatologist has suggested I not do that unless or until it's really bad. So for now, this is what I do. And I just saw her yesterday, and she said that they're not getting worse, so that's good. You know, they're not getting better, but they're not getting worse, so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and hope it continues down that path where they don't get worse. I mean, obviously you hope they get better, but realistically speaking, it's very difficult to go backwards. So I don't anticipate them completely healing. If I could just keep doing what I'm doing now, and they're just painful and sore once in a while, I can totally live with that. Because the surgery can actually make things worse, especially with people with EDS. Every time you get surgery, you're damaging tissues, and that's our whole problem in the first place, is that we have, thinner, more flexible tissues. So any damage that we do is just not a good idea, and in addition to that, we have poor healing, so getting surgeries or any kind of procedure is always risky, and you just try to avoid it at all costs. So the longer that I can avoid getting surgery in my hands, the better. And so, like I said, this is what I do. I use the diclofenac gel, and I use the gloves, and I try just to not overdo it. I do type, but for short periods of time, or like burst sessions, as I like to say, I'll type for half an hour, and then I'll go do something else, watch a TV show or something, and come back and type a little bit more, just little bits throughout the day, and not every day, not a full day, just limitations. So that would be my suggestion to any of you. And if you have any questions about contractures, I would definitely Google it. I don't have a ton of information about contractures, just what they do to me. And I think that has a lot to do with the flexibility, the extra flexibility from Ehlers Danlos, that I've probably hyperextended my fingers throughout my whole life and never even known it. And it just caused things to get stretched out. Kind of imagine it like a rubber band, after you've stretched it out so many times, what happens? It gets loose, right? And then it kind of like tingles when it comes back together. That's basically what's happening. And that's kind of what is happening in my other joints, where it just gets too stretched and then it never repairs itself. It's part of my lovely condition. So if you have any questions for me about my experiences with this condition, drop them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, guys, have a great day.